Cops don't just chase down criminals. Sometimes they capture things that just can't be explained. From eerie shadows to full-blown ghostly figures, even they get spooked.
I swear to God, I saw somebody in the car.
Stick around as we dive into some of the creepiest footage ever caught on duty.
Sit tight, sir. I'll be right back. Okay. Your registration is what the?
Sarah?
A woman was stopped by the police for speeding and was about to get a ticket. As the officer checked her details, he discovered her car registration was expired. Just as she turned to ask the lady driver about it, she vanished. Yep, gone without a trace.
Sit tight, sir. I'll be right back. Okay. Your registration is what the?
Sarah?
What the heck?
The officers searched the area, but there was no sign of her. It was as if she disappeared into thin air. The strange and sudden disappearance left everyone in shock. It happened so fast, and the officer was left completely stunned, unable to explain what had just occurred. It was truly an eerie moment. Haunted Gym. In a quiet park, police officers experienced something so baffling that they could only stand and watch it happening. The shoulder press was being used. By what exactly, though, that was not sure, and people have been debating about it till this date. Then another person came to attend their spinning class and arrived quite early as no one was there. But they weren't alone now, were they? Because the cycle was spinning and no one seemed to be on it. Safe to say, these gym equipment seemed to be haunted. Graveyard screams. Local police were informed about trespassers in the graveyard, so they went to investigate, only to be met with something far worse. As they approached, all of a sudden, terrifying screams filled the air, and the source? Unseen. All the cops could do was to run for their dear lives. I mean, after hearing such nightmarish screams, bolting from the graveyard seemed to be the rational choice. Cop V's ghost.
She's driving, the lady's in the back seat. She kept talking to the lady.
One eerie night, a rookie cop had to lock the gates at the infamous Polly Lookout. As she drove towards the lookout, she spotted a woman in white. Remembering the ghostly warnings about this figure, she cautiously approached her, but she wasn't standing. She was in the back seat. Panic set in, but she remembered the sage advice of staying calm and speaking to the spirit, so she did.
Oh, what are you doing out here, Auntie?
But the presence remained as silent as ever, but the cop kept talking to it. And just like that, the ghostly spirit vanished. Possessed woman. Way down in Poland, a woman's behavior took a rather terrifying turn. Was she possessed or mentally insane? Creepy screams filled the air as police officers arrived to intervene, but she was not coming out from her hiding place, just poking her head out and making the scene all the more terrifying. The line between reality and horror sure blurred in that moment, but that didn't deter the officers from investigating what was behind that door. Gettysburg Ghost. While driving through Gettysburg's historic battlefield, America's one of most haunted places, Greg Ewing captured spine-chilling footage. Ghostly apparitions running across the road. The site was infamous for the brutal 1863 Civil War battle. With up to 51,000 soldiers and 5,000 horses lost in the bloody three-day conflict, the spirits of the fallen seem to still linger here. These eerie figures, fleeting and transparent, left Greg and his family questioning if they just witnessed echoes of history still haunting the site. Police 5's intruder.
Police! Anyone inside, make yourself known.
A 911 call came in from a property owner reporting a break-in, but when police arrived, they didn't find any intruder. Instead, they stumbled upon something far more terrifying. While the house seemed empty otherwise, and yet there were strange noises echoing through the halls.
Anyone inside?
The officers searched the house pretty thoroughly, despite coming to the conclusion that it was indeed haunted. Pretty sure the memory of this haunting place would stay with these guys forever now. Creepy clowns on road.
Negative K, nothing further, just see the cabbie on the corner.
A distress call had the local police rush to a strange sight. 2 clowns standing completely still on the side of the road, scaring the people passing by. They were so creepy that even when the police car arrived, they barely moved an inch, which led a few to believe that something far more sinister might be at play here. This encounter was definitely creepy, and after watching these, the clown phobia is real as heck. Guys. Witch in White. Saudi Arabian police found themselves face to face with something they could not explain. A woman dressed in white, standing in the middle of the road. But she was no ordinary woman now. Her head was bent forward, twisted at an unnatural angle, while the rest of her posture seemed crooked. But then she chased the police car. It looked like she was playing with them, chasing them and then stopping. She didn't play this cat and mouse game for too long, though. Demonic ritual. A woman was caught on camera blocking people from disrupting what appeared to be a demonic ritual. Her intense demeanor and cryptid warnings were terrifying enough when all of a sudden the scene took a drastic turn. It appears those who ignored her soon regretted their actions, because much darker events followed shortly after that. This encounter sure left more questions than answers, along with a lingering sense of dread. Knocking hands. One night, a man and his dog were woken up by non-stop barking. His dog, usually calm, was clearly on edge, growling and staring at something outside. After a few moments, they heard it, the knocking on the door.
Holy hell.
It wasn't just once, but a steady rhythm, almost like someone, or something, was trying to get in.
Shh. Calm down. What are you?
The man went to the door and called out, but there was no answer. He opened the door slowly, only to find an empty doorstep. There was no one around. The whole thing left him confused and unsettled.
Charlie, come on.
Abandoned car. While on patrol late at night, a police officer saw an abandoned car parked on the roadside. It seemed strange, so he went to check it out. He thought he saw someone sitting inside, but when he opened the door, no one was there.
Somebody's in the car. I swear to God, I saw somebody in the car.
Thinking it was nothing, he walked away. Later, when he watched his body camera footage, he froze. A pale hand was clearly pressed against the windshield, leaving a ghostly mark. The officer couldn't explain what he had just seen. Hotel horror. A little girl's curiosity turned into terror when she opened the blinds of her hotel room and saw someone coming. Outside, a dark, shadowing figure was passing by their room, filling the air with dread. As it moved, it seemed like it was looking right at them. Was it contemplating making a move on these guys, or just passing along? This question still remains unanswered, as the figure was never seen again. haunted metro doors. Late one night, a guard at a metro station ended up recording something defying all logic and explanation. The revolving door was opening and closing as if by an invisible force or entity. He was so scared he didn't dare to get a closer look. And then another strange thing happened. It seemed these metro doors were haunted and kind of came alive only when the station was empty of all people. Invisible panic. A frantic woman named Heine called the cops, claiming her car was full of people, but the cops could not see anyone. She was terrified and kept pointing to the car seats, all while being adamant that these invisible people in her would let go away. Her fear was real, her words were chilling, and yet she was helpless, as the cops could not see a thing, and can only do so much against these invisible passengers. Wandering terror. In 2023, something truly eerie happened in Managua, Nicaragua. While some policemen were patrolling near the area, they witnessed and even captured the figure of La Llorona, the weeping woman from Latin American folklore, floating in the air on a road. With her long, flowing hair and creepy face, it was enough to make anyone feel uneasy. The footage quickly went viral, and people couldn't believe their eyes. Was it a strange optical illusion, or did La Llorona really appear to haunt the streets? The mystery still haunts us today. Ifrit Jinn. A cop, stranded in the middle of nowhere with a flat tire. He spotted an old rundown house nearby and thought, maybe I'll find some help. But as soon as he stepped inside, everything took a terrifying turn. There, standing in front of him, was a creature straight out of a nightmare. It wasn't a ghost or anything he had ever seen. Yep. It was something far worse. He quickly prepared to defend himself, but the creature didn't charge. Instead, it just growled and blocked his way. That's when he realized he was face to face with an Ifrit, a fiery, demonic spirit. Scary rake. If you ever find yourself near a cemetery in the middle of the night, it's better to stay away. One man learned this the hard way as he walked through a quiet graveyard on a foggy night. Everything seemed normal at first, until he noticed something moving in the shadows. A rake with long, twisted arms and legs. Oh God. Its skin almost glowed in the darkness. Luckily, the creature didn't see him, and the man ran without looking back, not stopping until he was far away. Creepy eyes. A man was coming home late from work when he saw a woman standing by the roadside. As he passed her, he glanced at her and noticed her eyes turned completely black. It looked like she was possessed. The man got scared and ran away quickly, not wanting to look back. The image of her dark eyes stayed in his mind and never figured out who she exactly was. Mysterious figures. In a small town in Indonesia, a man was looking out his window in the middle of the night when he saw a dark figure standing on the road. It looked strange, as if something was wrong with it. Then, another figure appeared, and both started acting weirdly. After a few moments, they walked off in opposite directions. The man was left confused, with no idea what he had just witnessed. And they actually were. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. Creepy resident. One night, a man drove into a parking lot when he heard some strange noises. As he walked back to his car, something caught his eye. A tiny creature was seen running between the parked cars, moving so fast that it almost seemed to disappear. Thankfully, he managed to catch the whole thing on camera. The footage showed a small, mysterious figure running around, and to me, it looks like a goblin left behind by its group. But others online think it could be an alien. What do you think? You be the judge. Jinn.
ما راح أقرب أكثر. أنت متجوز يا ملهوز يا شلهوز؟
During a daytime visit to an old building, someone captured something unexpected on camera. In broad daylight, they saw a figure wearing a gray robe. What caught their attention was the unusual face. It had strange patterns and an odd shape.
أنت بني آدم طبيعي ساحر أنت جن؟
Many people who saw the video thought it might be a jinn, a mysterious being from Middle Eastern stories. The fact that this happened during the day made many wonder what they really saw. Through the window. Beyond the barred window, between the gaps in partially drawn curtains, lurked a sight that froze the blood in its viewer's veins. A sinister figure stared back through unblinking white eyes, its razor-sharp grin suggesting something far removed from our realm of understanding. The window's metal barriers, meant to keep dangers out, now seemed to trap the observer in this horrifying moment. Whether this entity emerged from demonic depths or some other dark dimension remains a matter of heated debate among those brave enough to discuss it. Dance of Death. Multiple new sightings of the Serbian dancing lady, also known as the Dancing Shadow, have surfaced recently on the internet. These chilling videos show a woman dancing in the same erratic, unnatural way, often under the cover of darkness. What makes this even more disturbing is the fact that she doesn't dance continuously, only when she senses someone nearby.
Jeste dobro.
Her movements are hypnotic, but as soon as she stops dancing, it's time to get out of there, and fast. Legend has it that the Serbian dancing lady is a vengeful spirit, cursed to wander the night, eternally dancing alone. If you find yourself near her, be careful. When she halts her dance, she chases her victims with a knife, and they're never seen or heard from again. Some say she was once a woman who went mad after a traumatic event, forced to dance forever as punishment for her actions. Her restless spirit now preys on those who cross her path. The dancing lady is not just a tale, it's real, and she's waiting. Stay safe and be extra cautious if you're out alone after dark. Dark Shadow. While exploring a long-abandoned building, Chris was drawn to an eerie noise echoing from one of the rooms. As he entered, a dark, shadowy figure moved in the center of the room. His heart raced as he tried to get a closer look, but the shadow vanished as though it had never been there. The room, now eerily quiet, gave no clues. Chris meticulously searched every corner, but the unsettling figure never appeared again. It was as if the shadow had dissolved into thin air, leaving only an unshakable sense of dread behind. What's for dinner? A calm evening turned into a terrifying experience for a homeowner who ventured into their kitchen for a late-night snack. Standing just outside the window was a massive, shadowy figure, the unmistakable shape of the legendary Bigfoot. The creature's towering frame loomed ominously, its piercing gaze fixed on the house. Frozen in disbelief, the homeowner couldn't comprehend how this elusive figure, said to reside deep in the wilderness, had wandered so close to civilization. Scary humanoid. A quiet night turned horrifying when a strange humanoid figure appeared outside a house's kitchen window. Its movements were slow and unnerving as it began to climb through the window, pausing halfway inside. The creature scanned the room as if searching for something, its jerky movements only adding to the terror. After a few tense moments, it retreated and vanished into the night without making a sound. The homeowner discovered the chilling footage the next morning, and the realization of how close the creature had come left them shaken. What it wanted, or why it left so suddenly, remains an unsolved and haunting mystery. Camper encounter. Camping in the woods is supposed to be peaceful, but for one camper, it became a waking nightmare. Strange noises broke the silence of the night, prompting him to scan the dark forest with his flashlight. That's when he saw it, A demon-like creature perched on a tree branch, its glowing eyes locked on him. The creature's otherworldly appearance and intense stare froze him in place, filling him with a primal fear. Gathering his courage, the camper quickly packed up and left, vowing never to return. Don't play around. A mirror ritual seemed like harmless fun to two thrill-seeking friends, until darkness suddenly enveloped them. The atmosphere shifted as their eyes fixed on the bedroom door, hearts pounding with growing dread. Their attempt to pierce the veil between worlds succeeded in the worst possible way. A nightmarish face materialized on the door's surface. Its gaze locked directly on them. Their screams pierced the darkness as they realized too late that some boundaries aren't meant to be crossed. Demonic photobomber. An ordinary evening at home took a horrifying twist when a woman spotted something dark and menacing in the corner of her eye. A demon-like figure with a shadowy outline and piercing presence peeked around the corner, vanishing almost as quickly as it appeared. The brief encounter left her heart pounding, her mind racing with questions. Was it simply observing her, or was it planning something sinister? For days after, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, every creak and shadow in her house now a source of fear. Creepy clown. Imagine checking your doorbell footage and seeing a clown lurking outside. This isn't a Halloween prank. The sinister figure wandered the yard, its intentions far from innocent. It fiddled with the door handle, attempting to gain entry, its chilling grin visible even in the grainy video. The homeowners wisely stayed indoors, watching in horror as the clown continued its unsettling behavior. After reviewing the footage, they contacted the authorities, but the clown had disappeared without a trace. Its identity and purpose remain unknown. Doorbell horror. Strange noises woke a homeowner in the middle of the night, but he brushed them off and went back to sleep. The next day, his curiosity got the better of him, and he checked his ring cam footage. What he saw sent chills down his spine. A bizarre figure with unnaturally large eyes and a grotesque nose stood outside, staring at the house. Its silent, unmoving presence felt like something out of a nightmare. After lingering for what felt like an eternity, the figure disappeared into the darkness. The owner couldn't stop thinking about what might have happened if he had opened the door that night. Terror of joy. A body cam caught a cop responding to a distress call about strange noises coming from an abandoned house. As he cautiously entered, a dark shadow flashed across the hallway, vanishing before he could react. But that was just the beginning. The real horror set in when a disturbing, manic laugh echoed through the air, sending chills down his spine.
What the f***?
The cops spun around, trying to find where the sound was coming from, but there was no one there. Only the empty, silent house and the laugh, growing more unsettling by the second. No one could explain what had happened, and it left everyone who heard about it with a sense of dread. Ghostly presence detected. A curious thing happened one evening when a woman was taking a picture of herself. Outside her window, she heard some commotion and saw two police officers rushing upstairs to check on a room. When they got there, they found the room filled with a strange, swirling mist, and unusual sounds were coming from inside. One officer seemed to be trying to calm whatever was in there, looking like he knew exactly what to do. The whole situation was odd. The mist, the sounds, and the way the officers handled it. No one really knows what they found in that room that day. Unseen assailant. When someone called 911 about a break-in, the police expected to find a burglar. Instead, they found something they couldn't explain. The house looked empty, but sounds kept coming from different rooms. Every time the officers checked a room where they heard noise, they found nothing there. They searched the whole house, but couldn't find what was making those sounds. It turned into one of those stories the officers still talk about at the station. Flying ghost. Two friends out for a late-night walk were caught off guard by something that sped across their path in the blink of an eye. Shocked and confused, they struggled to make sense of what they had just experienced. Luckily, a nearby CCTV camera captured the strange moment. When they reviewed the footage, they were floored. It looked like a child soaring through the air. The figure moved so fast, it was hard to believe it was human. Creepy Santa. Christmas turned from cheerful to chilling for this unfortunate family when a sinister version of Santa Claus appeared outside their home. Instead of the usual jolly figure, they saw a haunting, malevolent presence lurking near their doorstep. The eerie figure moved slowly, its unsettling gaze piercing through the festive atmosphere. The family could only watch in horror as this dark twist on the holiday icon disappeared into the night. Was it a warning? Or had the holiday spirit itself been corrupted? One thing's for sure, this was a Christmas they'll never forget. Dark, tentacled entity. Late one night, a strange creature was caught on camera floating in the middle of the street. It hung there, suspended in the air, with long, flowing tentacles that moved unnaturally. At one point, the creature shifted its form, resembling a snake, twisting and writhing in a way that didn't seem possible. The only light that reached it came from the street lamps, making it look even more mysterious. Some think it could be some kind of UFO, but there's something about it that feels wrong, like it's something no one can explain, even though it was clearly captured on film. Skipping shadow. Late one night, security cameras picked up something unusual, a person dancing and skipping down an empty street. The interesting part was the sound of ankle bells ringing with each skip. When this mysterious dancer noticed they were being filmed, they didn't stop or run away. They just kept hopping along, bells jingling, like it was the most normal thing to do at midnight. What made it extra curious was how they seemed completely comfortable being out there alone. Miami's alien. This seems like an unusual creature, its form shifting and twisting in ways that defies explanation. But now people think it might even be an alien. Discovered by cops, this was found somewhere in Miami. No one had seen anything like it before, and as the cops inched closer, the figure seemed to become more surreal. None of it made sense. There were no footprints, no clues, no signs of where it might have come from. It was as if the creature had simply materialized out of thin air. The officers were left staring, their radios silent as they struggled to process what they saw. To this day, no one has been able to explain the encounter. Fear confirmed. This video was revealed by a security guard who was convinced he was being haunted, though no one believed him at first. Right at the beginning, you can spot a faint, transparent silhouette in the bottom right corner. And it seems like the guard wasn't the only one who noticed it. He quickly stands up, clearly feeling a presence nearby. He later described feeling the air grow colder, as if something messed with the thermostat. And he couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching him. But when he checked the area, nothing or no one was there to confirm his experience, until he pulled the security tapes. Bold visitor. When a door suddenly opens on its own, most people would chalk it up to the wind. But when there's no breeze and the doors are securely locked shut by a heavy bolt, you know something far more sinister is at play. These hospital workers had no choice but to witness the eerie unfolding before them. One of them wisely left the room, but when you're dealing with an invisible force that has the strength to tear doors off their hinges, you quickly realize you're not as safe as you might think. Could this be the spirit of a long-past patient seeking revenge for mistreatment by a careless doctor? Or is something else entirely at work? Ghostly companion. This eerie footage comes from a security officer working the night shift at an old hospital, a place famous for paranormal activity. Locals believe former patients still wander its hallways. During his shift, the guard recorded a video. At the time, he noticed nothing unusual. However, upon reviewing the video, he spotted something chilling. A ghostly figure just outside his second-floor window. The face of an elderly woman appeared, staring straight at him. What made it more terrifying was that his office had no ledge or platform outside the window, making it impossible for anyone to be there. Some believe this was the spirit of a former patient, revisiting the place where she spent her final days. The security guard is certain he captured proof of something unexplainable that night. Spirit talk. This video filmed at Rio Shopping in Mexico. A security guard was patrolling the mall when he unexpectedly encountered something strange. It looked like he was talking to someone. The unsettling part was that whoever he was talking to wasn't visible on the footage. According to him, he encountered a young girl. He even seemed to comfort her by patting her head to make her feel at ease. After a while, the guard contacted his colleagues to let them know about the girl, but they dismissed it, claiming the cameras showed no one with him. Moments later, he hurriedly ran from the area. It's time for today's open discussion. At 2:30 a.m. in the morning, this garage camera picked up a creepy sight. Turns out the place had been home to a ghostly entity. With quite unnatural movements, the entity seemed to remain in one place, as if it knew it was being recorded. But it certainly had made this garage a home. I'm guessing, after watching this, the owner didn't step foot in that garage again. It was empty no more. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.